Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Firm Report. I am Pat Hilton, and this is Zach Hoffman. Welcome back.
What's up, Pat? How are you? How was your weekend?
Wonderful weekend. Had some nice time out by the pool with the fam, recorded some music, and now it's time to jam. Time to get back into the grind.
I hear you. Happy Monday, man. Hope you
Yes,
have a
sir.
powerful week.
Oh, yeah. I love that we do this on Mondays because it just gives us a ton of momentum and gives us the ideas that we need to get weekly content presented on your page, and it gives people an idea of how they can use streaming to their advantage. There was a big marketing stream that happened over the weekend that everybody's been talking about, so not using these tools is outdating your marketing systems, and that's what we're here to show you, how easy it is to do this, folks. So, Zach, what do we got on the hopper for today? Let's run down the topics for the people of the world.
For sure. So we got settlement win spotlight, so the Instagram leaderboard. Then we have the Labor Day and the end of 100 deadliest days. Skipping into digital creator spotlight, we got Hugo Lord to talk about what he's doing on TikTok, and then go into Halloween opportunities and essentially how you could parlay that into your firm. Then also Hurricane Aaron. It's news that you can't miss right now. Essentially big hurricane brewing right now. Big opportunity for law firms to position with content for their community.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's dive into topic number one and give people the rundown.
Yep. So the rundown out there that we saw. So settlement win spotlight. So when we're looking to open it up here, we have a $5 million settlement from the Dordick Law Group. Commercial truck essentially ran over somebody's foot. Huge settlement that they got for the plaintiffs. Then you have Kelly Ustall, John Ustall over there. He's a true artist at really building effective cases. A $5 million settlement for a wrongful death case. Then Morgan & Morgan, their attorneys in Florida and Jacksonville, secured a $3.1 million settlement related to an auto accident. Then you also have Morgan & Morgan, Stephen Jones, who we covered last week, with another $1.75 million settlement in Arizona. You have Steiner, Green & Finer down here in Florida with a $1.2 million settlement due to negligent driving. And Apex Injury Lawyers over in Northern California with a $1 million settlement hitting the board as well.
That's incredible. And the more that we see these people promoting themselves on social media, the more that we see that there's so much more opportunity coming to their law firms. And everything we talk about here on the show is about marketing, media, putting yourself out there, getting your website, your SEO active. These people are doing this very well, and it's no surprise that they keep winning.
Yeah, and they keep positioning these big settlements up at the top of their feed so that, when consumers go to their feed in general, that they're positioned right there up top. So they're very easy to find.
It's awesome. What do we got on the next topic, Zach?
Yeah, so going into Labor Day, it marks the end of the 100 deadliest days of summer. Essentially, that stretch from Memorial Day over into Labor Day. So, it's the events where car accidents really skyrocket through the summer. So for law firms, as you position going into Labor Day, really highlighting the holiday and effectively marking the end of the most dangerous days of summer is a great thing to do. You could also talk about worker recognition. So as first responders that essentially, empower people to be safe or survive or, just basically respond to these incidences. Then you can go into a safety tie-in, really just honing in specific messages related to no phones while driving, obey curfews and speed limits, and essentially buckle up for every ride. Those curfews coming to, teen drivers and those that just shouldn't be on the road after a certain time. And in general, it's typically dangerous to be on the road after a certain hour. But essentially, it'll position your firm, caring for the community, and also reinforce to people just, the safety when it comes to the roads, and essentially that, they've made it through this big spike, and going into the weekend here, just really highlighting the effectiveness of safe driving and what it means during the holiday.
Yeah, I think that safety is always important. And I think that when you talk about safety and when you talk about caring about people's kids in the community, you attract the people that are actually the primetime buyers. Listen, people that are responsible parents are responsible business owners, and those are the people that are looking for somebody to trust if or when something does go wrong. You want to be that person. Or you want to be so good at marketing yourself that you're the person people refer to because they've seen you so many times that they just trust you anyway. Oh my gosh, something happened. Who should I call? Call Zach.
Yep. Yep. And that, that Labor Day positioning just essentially, just reinforces your engagement with the community and also, gives people warnings going into the Labor Day holiday because, that's also a dangerous time sometimes to be on the road as well.
100%.
People are out celebrating. They're just, sometimes driving under the influence, or it's not, necessarily the best times to be on the road.
Absolutely. And, we all have to deal with that, navigate that. And if something were to happen, people need an option. People go to what they know. So make sure they know you. What else we got, Zach? Let's jump into the next one.
So as we continue forward here, we're going to be highlighting digital creators. And digital creator Hugo Lord, mainly on TikTok as well as Instagram as well as YouTube. You just can't beat his profile. Go check out the content. That's UGO Lord. And essentially, he has over 7 million followers on TikTok. Huge engagement, over close to 300 million likes and 450,000 plus followers on Instagram. And he collaborates strongly with Law by Mike, whom we covered earlier, a couple weeks back. And they also have this landing page, I Think I Have a Case, which essentially brings people in when they essentially think they have a case. So takes that content and then turns it into a lead gen format.
Yeah, that's super awesome. There's so many ways to approach this content thing, and you just got to find what's comfortable for you. Not everyone, especially someone like you that's as busy as you're not just going to sit around and try and be an influencer all day. And that's okay. You want to influence as many people as you can, but find a system and a rhythm that works for you. These people are clearly looking at how can we, shine a light on our wins? How can we shine a light on our talents and spotlight ourselves? This guy's done a great job of building an influential brand using those skills.
Definitely. And some of the topics that he covers are essentially who's liable. So really drawing in the audience to have them guess as to who do they think is liable based on a specific event. So that engages the users. Then you also have legal takes on pop culture and news. You had Cardi B that threw a mic at a fan in the audience. Then you also had him covering the U.S. court upholding a TikTok ban. So, a diversity in topics and topics that consumers would be interested in creates engagement and creates more impressions for your profile. There's also daily legal life scenarios. So essentially when people are pulled over, walking people through those incidences, what their rights are, and just making sure that, they're educated when it comes down to it, and also making it fun so that people get engaged.
Yeah, I think the fun factor's got to be there. And even if the topic that you're covering is business-ish, that can be perceived to us business people as boring, but you can make a lot of things exciting with good editing, fast-paced movement, and a lot of the things that are getting attention, especially on your page. We're starting to get some nice responses from people that appreciate, our camaraderie in the industry and showing love to what they do.
For sure. And, as you move forward, just consumer empowerment. So, what their rights are when they're pulled over. Essentially, when it comes to, displaying their ID, their driver's license, also even like DUI checkpoints, just making sure that consumers are aware of, what their rights are when they have encounters with police, even after an accident. So, those type of topics really hone in well and relate well to consumers.
Yeah, it's educational, but it's entertaining at the same time. So not only are you getting something out of it, you're also being entertained. And so that can, get a vote for a subscription or a vote for a phone call or a referral or whatever, because it sticks in your brain. So I think he's great. He's smart. I like his stuff.
Yeah, it's very engaging to end users. He has a lot of interactive prompts to get people commenting and also asking people for cases. So if they think they have a case, to go to ithinkIhaveacase.com and fill out the form. So he's doing a lot to really, plug in the user and create a lot of engagement and connect the dots. That's critical when it comes to social media content.
Absolutely. I love it. Go follow him today, folks. Zach, cue us into the next one, my man.
Yeah. As we go forward here, we have Halloween opportunities. So we covered back to school last week, but when we look at these Halloween opportunities and the Halloween community involvement opportunities, they're huge. You can talk about safety when it comes to trick or treat. You can make your office a safe stop. So essentially you could do it during the holiday or pre-holiday to make it so people can come by, get candy, water, glow sticks, even, I would say a tote bag to carry around, like a long-term tote bag that they would carry for years to come with your, essential office logo on it, as well as just a happy Halloween statement, really reining in who your firm is and also being top of mind for the parents and top of mind throughout the holiday. And you could do a costume contest and social content within your firm itself, so within your staff, and also potentially inviting families and their children to take pictures, and make sure you have permission, but you can utilize the contest pictures on your social media as profile placements as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. There's so many ways to go about this, and I think that the fact that we can find how these firms are doing it well and magnify that, not only does it give people an opportunity to see what's working, it gives them an opportunity to start implementing some of these things so that they can grow.
Oh, for sure. We're at that cusp where, we're really, I would say, mid-August. So you have September and October to essentially execute on getting all these things in place, because it doesn't necessarily happen overnight. So you have about 2.5 months from now to really make sure that you get these things in order, start creating the events, order those Halloween tote bags, even do a candy drive if you'd like within the office, and then potentially partner with local schools or nonprofits, making them aware that you have this safe zone at your office. And then you can also do PR, press releases, as well as do storytelling on your social media profile, really leading up to the event and making yourself remembered in the community go forward.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's a great approach. And again, you have a really keen eye for what works, because obviously you do this and you've done it for a while. And so it's a good way for people to find exactly how to go about it without even thinking too hard. Just watch the show.
Exactly. Tune in every Monday.
Yeah, tune in. So let's jump into the to the hurricane topic as well.
Yeah, so very timely topic. Essentially, you have Hurricane Erin brewing out there over in the Atlantic. So it's a major hurricane. It's gone all the way up to a Category 5. Now it's, I think, back down to a Category 3 and probably bounce back to a Category 5. But essentially, whether it's going to impact your community directly or not, essentially with hurricanes, I would say all up and down the eastern seaboard these days, even into the Gulf of Mexico, every state is potentially impacted, in those regions, which is numerous. I mean, you're talking, unfortunately, it goes almost from Florida all the way to Louisiana and Texas, and then all the way up to New York. Everybody's essentially doesn't really have a get out of jail free card when it comes to these hurricanes anymore. So, really making sure that people are aware of their legal preparedness, so that they, essentially, if they get into that unfortunate event where they have to file a claim, that they have everything that they need, that everything's documented with photos and videos, that they're saving receipts if they have to go through any repairs or, get impacted by living expenses. And then also contact your insurance company, but make sure you don't sign anything right away, typically without without a law firm reviewing what the insurance company provides you. And just really come across the public with practical advice, and continue to make sure that as you're, giving this advice, that they know that you're here for them before, during, and after the storm, in case anything does hit.
Yeah, I think that this is something people overlook because they think this can't happen to me. And I think that anytime I've done that, it always happens to me. But it's something to think about just in terms of especially safety. You got a family, you got a house. I mean, dude, somebody's house, it's your biggest investment. And so you want to make sure that you're protecting your livelihood too.
Yeah, and there's also things that can happen like before and after the storm, or just like even after the storm, it doesn't need to be the storm itself that causes the greatest impact. Sometimes it can be like post flood. It could be energy outages, just numerous things. It's really important to make sure that you check all, dot all your I's and cross all your T's when it comes to safety. Then there's also a number of other ideas that you could do. You could share info when it comes to local shelters, emergency numbers, and potentially relief funds if people need it, or like where to go after the course of the event. Because, unfortunately too, a lot of federal aid has evolved. So making sure that they know what local agencies to be talking to or where to go for support is really critical, because that has all been changing.
Yeah, 100%. And so, hey, you got to stay up with it, not just for the safety of your investment, but literally for your physical safety, because, I mean, we've seen tragedy come from these hurricanes all over the coastal U.S. So be prepared.
Be prepared, and just, give them a list that they can really, like I said, check and make sure that, they have everything in line when it comes down to it. And that'll give people, assurance, and also keep your firm top of mind when it comes, to needing safety, needing just safety, which is, related to anything having to do with a lawsuit. It's really important.
Yeah, 100%. That's great advice. And what else we got, Zach? If you could give people one tip this week, as always, on what they could do to separate themselves from the competitors in the marketplace when it comes to law firm marketing. You're an attorney, you're a lawyer, you want to drive more attention, and you want to get more people on the phone. What should they be doing this week?
I would say looking at that Labor Day holiday and just making people aware that, that cloud period of the 100 deadliest days essentially is behind us, but we still have Labor Day ahead, and just safety on the roads in general, and depending on where you are located geographically, just anything that might be happening in the winter, and just, precautions as we move forward here into the future. As well, I do think the Halloween opportunities, start planning now and start getting those ducks in a row, because I think that's a huge opportunity too.
Yeah, and one of the things that we do and we discuss a lot as marketers and social media managers for clients and stuff, especially with Zach, is that you want to batch record. So this is a great opportunity to film that stuff, review it, approve it, get it on your schedule to be posted so that you are ready, not trying to film at the last minute when these things happen. So I love that approach to this. I think that's super smart to get ahead of it now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Firm Report, brought to you by Pat Hilton and Zach Hoffman, coming to you live every Monday, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Pat. Have a great week.
Rock on.
Talk soon.